And welcome everybody, it's Dan, hope you're well today. So it is a Wednesday, I can't get the thing out of my ear. Welcome to the podcast show, hope you're well today, middle of a week, hope you're crushing it. Not only for the middle of a week, but also because it's the start of November. It's only the 2nd of November today. Hope you're doing really well. And that you're on not a countdown for Christmas, but you are feeding all the pigs. They're all ready to fly. They're all facing in the right direction. Hopefully that's exactly where you are. But in today's session, I want to talk to you about building trust, because trust is really important in your online business. And I'll tell you why. So as you can see from the screen there, unless you're listening on a podcast, by the way, in which case welcome, but 55% of people are concerned about spending money on social media due to fears about fraudulent sellers. Now, interestingly, just yesterday I saw a really nice chair on Facebook. It looked really, really nice. It had heated seats, it had back massage on it. It looked amazing, right? So I clicked the link, I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy that. €55 for a $400 chair, £400 chair, whatever it's going to be. And I'm like, no wonder people don't have trust online when Facebook, good old Facebook, are the people that are making all that money pushing out all this fake stuff. So then I reported it, and then, half an hour later, we got a different ad, slightly different name. And what happens is, and you've got to be really good at spotting these, and you've got to be really careful. They just upload loads of different names. They put loads of adverts out there, and they get people to put their credit card details in, and it's a fraudulent transaction effectively. You're never going to get your chair at €55. You're never going to see that money ever again. And so no wonder 55% are concerned about spending money on social media in some way or other. I'll give you another example. When we drop leaflets for buying properties below market value, we could also, instead of dropping leaflets, run Facebook ad campaigns. But Facebook ad campaigns, you've got to run twice as many campaigns, because the level of trust on a social media ad campaign is much, much lower than it is when getting a leaflet, because a leaflet's like a solid thing that you can actually hold inside in your hands effectively. And so people don't really trust online stuff. And so knowing that that's a thing, and knowing that that as a thing is not going anywhere, it's not going to get better next year or in 10 years, it's going to get worse. It's going to get a lot worse, right? So, and by the way, do you think social media is here to stay? We've had it for 10, 15 years. Do you think we're going to have it for another 10 or 15 years? Of course we are. It might not be in this format that we're in. It might be more of a virtual type of arena, like the metaverse that Zuckerberg is pushing. But unless you're building trust throughout a period of time, people ain't going to trust you, your product, your services, your business, any of it, right? So you've now got to be building trust as you're moving forward through time, as we all do. The clock ticks forward. As you're moving forward, you have to add in part of your marketing mix reasons to trust you. And those reasons to trust you could be doing charity work, helping people, just being nice, just saying positive things, doing mindset work, or talking about positive mindset, helping people, and having them talk about the help that you've done. Get results for people, and be able to demonstrate the results that you've done for these other people. All of that is really, really important. Now, one of the problems, of course, is that, as we all know, you can buy fake testimonials. You can buy fake YouTube views. You can get comments on YouTube videos. There's a couple of very well-known property people that do all of that, right? So it's really hard getting testimonials that people are going to believe, and most people ain't going to believe written testimonials. So trying, which is really hard, but trying to get video testimonials, and then go and get as many testimonials as you can. That will actually help. But again, it has to be done over a period of time. If you wake up tomorrow and go, you know what, Dan, testimonials, I'm going to go get myself 30 testimonials. First of all, Google is going to be like, hang on, what, you got 30 in one day, did you? That's fraudulent. That's what it's going to think. So you can't do it like that. You got to do it once a week, or once a month, or once every couple of months, and start building it up over a long period of time. You've got to go live like this. We've been going live for the last 7 years, for goodness sakes. We've got podcast episodes that have gone back 7 years, and we've been fairly consistent on the podcast, which we're going to talk about shortly. But also, even when we haven't been consistent for months at a time, the fact that we've had years of podcast content going out on iTunes means we're not going anywhere. We're here to stay. We're building a business. People can see that we're building a business. They can see that we have been building that business for the last 5 or 10 years. People before 5 or 10 years knew me in a different life when I was speaking on stage as a property investor and all of that kind of thing, right? But people will remember you 20 years down the line. And you've got to give people a reason to remember you. So you need to be seen. Let me just move that around. So you need to be seen in order to sell your services and products. Most people, they're not seen at all. They creep around like they don't want to be noticed. And it's like, dude, how are you going to make money not being noticed? You've got to get out there. The number one currency of 2022, and as we go into 2023, this is going to increase, of course, and as time moves forward, it's going to increase increasingly. But the number one currency, it's not Bitcoin or Dogecoin, although that'd be interesting with Twitter. It's not the GBP or the euro. It's none of that. It's attention. You've got to be getting attention, positive attention, over a long period of time. Because if you can't be seen online, who's going to buy from you? If you've got a shop on the high street, we have this thing called footfall, right? It's exactly the same thing with social media. If you're putting content out, you've got equivalent footfall walking past your social media pages. But if you're not putting anything out, no one's going to see you. The thing that you shut down 6 years ago. Let me grab a quick drink here. So you've got to be seen in order to sell. And then the next one then is just consistency. Like, you know, we mentioned about being consistent over the podcast, and I've had periods where I've been incredibly consistent, then I've had periods of time where I've been incredibly inconsistent. Now, the longer you are consistent for, the more you can get away with being less consistent, right? So, you know, like, I don't know what number we're on. I think we're on number 123 of season 7. I thought I'll call it season 7. It makes it sound like Game of Thrones. Season 7 coming. Well, like in January the 1st, it's season 8. So we turned it into seasons. But like this year, I think we've had 123. I think this might be 125th. That's quite a lot. That's 2 a week on average, but we don't do 2 a week. We do one every day for 5 days, and then none for a couple of weeks, then another every day for 5 weeks. That's the level of consistency sometimes based on all the work that I have to do. I'm not just sat here, sometimes I am, but I'm not just sat here going live on Facebook and so on. So you've got to be consistent over a long period of time. Like the weight loss thing that I've been going on, I've been consistent for the last 27, 28 weeks. Have I had moments where I've pigged out? I had a pizza last night and a whole box of chocolates last night. Do I have moments like that? Yeah, absolutely. But am I still losing weight? Yes. Why? Because over time, consistency over time. And this is what you need to be doing inside of your business. You're going to have to go live. You're going to have to create a podcast. You're going to have to post on social media. If you haven't got time to do any of that, you let us come and do it for you. But you've got to be consistent and you've got to be seen in order to sell. And then the final bit here is about you leaving a positive trace on the world. So I, on a daily basis, check what's going on with our Google Analytics. And I'm looking at what are people clicking on to land on our website. And the number of times people have clicked on something. You know, we had one yesterday, it was like 6 or 7 people had clicked on a post that I posted back in 2017. And I don't know why we had 6 yesterday. I just know that we did. It could be that it came up on some search engine optimization. It could be that it came up on something that we put out on social media. I have no idea. And it's not my job to analyze that and understand why that is. It's just my job to understand that stuff happens, right? People are still watching my videos from 8 years ago. The first video I did was like 12 years ago. People are still watching it. I have no idea what the motivation is. I don't care what the motivation is, but it gets attention. It builds consistency. Anyone who's been doing videos for the last 12 years is fairly consistent, I would say. Someone you can do business with because of the level of consistency. And so this is the key, but also leaving a positive trace, which means making people feel good. Maybe inviting them to think about a certain thing in a different way. Maybe you can be the beacon of light that shines in the foggy night that people can head towards as a compass for positivity and inspiration and motivation. If that's going to be your thing, then go for that. Or it could be you're the beacon of light because you show people how to do stuff. You're showing people how to go live. And actually, that's not what I do. Mine is more about being the beacon of light of inspiration and motivation, because I'm just like you. I'm just an everyman person. You know, I'm just like you. I've just made some different life choices about moving to Spain. I made some different life choices about investing in property, which turned out really good. And I made some different life choices on running a digital marketing business and all the personal development stuff and all of that kind of thing. But number one for me is about leaving a positive trace so that if I, for whatever reason, am gone from this planet, people can still access that content and they can still watch it and get inspiration and motivation from it, even though I'm not around. Like, you look at some of the people that are not with us anymore. Like, I don't know, who just died recently? Lots of people just died recently, but I'm trying to think of somebody like a pop star. Like, why can't I think of any pop stars? Let's say I can't use him. I was going to use an inappropriate pop star then. The king of pop. No, thank you. But you know what I mean, right? This is about people who've passed on. Why can't I think of anybody? Goodness me. I'm really struggling. Someone who's passed. Dirk Bogarde, right? Do people still watch Dirk Bogarde movies from the 1940s and the 1950s? I can't think of anyone more recent. Yeah, of course I do. Somebody still does. You know, a black and white war movie on a Sunday afternoon. Oh, that's the sort of stuff I grew up with me grandma and my granddad and then my dad, you know? So some people still probably watch that. Probably my dad. But he left, I mean, I'm assuming he left a positive, like, we don't know, do we? All this stuff comes out after people have gone. It's really hard picking people to use as a positive aspirational figure from history. It turns out later on that they did all this stuff that they shouldn't have been doing. So, but look, this is about you leaving a positive trace, being the beacon of optimism for people. And when you're going through tough times and you're talking about going through a tough time and how you manage to resolve that, there's loads of people watching that, because they're also going through tough times. I would say more people are going through tough times and more people are going through good times. So if you can be, like, it doesn't feel like it, does it, by the way? Because on social media, everyone's amazing. Everyone's life is truly worth living. The best life ever. It's bollocks. like 80% of people are struggling and the 20% are happy. Like, and there's a difference between happy and struggling, by the way. Maybe people who are struggling are also happy, okay? But financially, most people are struggling, then most people are doing really well and can just, you know what, let's go on holiday today. Let's just book a flight and go away for 2 weeks. Like, who can do that? Nobody, right? Very few people can actually do that. And so your job should be to leave a positive trace. If you don't know what to go live about and you're struggling what to talk about in your podcasts or your lives or your videos or whatever that happens to be, then you should be thinking about just being the positive beacon of inspiration to lead people forward. Anyway, look, hope that's useful. We've got an awesome video that we're just editing, so I'm going to go finish that. You'll see what I mean when it comes out. In the meantime, have yourselves a wicked day and we'll speak to you soon. My name's Dan Latto. Have a good one. Take care.